Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video I will show you in ASP.NET Core MVC application how to create an online exam project. And here we got our final output. Notice the header tags online quiz exam application with ASP.NET Core MVC. Now below that we have the question number and the question with 4 options. Right now in our table we have 4 questions. Now let's select the options. What is the capital of India? I'm selecting Bangalore, which is the wrong answer. The capital of USA, I'm selecting Washington. The capital of China, I'm selecting Beijing. Capital of Australia is Canberra. Now let's check submit. So here once I click the submit button, I got all the correct answers below the every question. The capital of India is Delhi, but I have chosen Bangalore. Come to the bottom, notice below the button control, the selected answer is Bangalore. If we check what is the capital of USA, I have selected Washington. Here the second question, the selected answer is Washington. And the correct answer is also Washington. And also notice the button controls are disabled when a user clicks the submit button. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before writing the coding part in ASP.NET Core, first we'll check the table and the column names in SQL Server Management Studio. The table name is online exam, which contains 7 columns. The first column is a question ID, which is the auto-generated column, and the second column is a question, and from column 3 to column 6, which contains the options the user can select, and the last column is a correct answer, which compares the selected user answer. So let's start the coding part. For this video tutorial, I am creating a new ASP.NET Core web application. Go to File, New, Project, and from the projects I'm selecting ASP.NET Core web application. Click Next. Let's give the project name Online Exam MVC Core is my project name, and I want to save this project in the location D drive in the project folder. Click Create. And after that I'm selecting the ASP.NET Core web application, which is a model view control. Then I'm using the ASP.NET Core 3.0. the version is Create, and the project is created successfully. Let's close this default window. First in this project, open Solution Explorer. First in this project I'm adding my SQL Server connection string in appsettings.json file. Let's open appsettings.json file, and between curly braces I'm adding double quotes connection string colon. Again between double quotes I'm adding my connection string name, which is my connection, colon between double quotes. Now between these double quotes I'm adding my connection string data source, which I'll get from open Server Explorer. In Server Explorer, notice there is a data connections. Right click that one, add connection. Let's add the SQL Server name. After adding SQL Server name, now I'm selecting the database name. The table I have created in this new DB database, I have selected that one. Test connection is succeeded. OK. And here the new db.dbo is added. Now we require this data source. Right click the mouse, go to properties. In the properties there is a connection string which contains the data source. Just copy the data source and paste between these double quotes. After that, the last step, we need to add comma because it's a JSON file. And now open Solution Explorer. We'll add a new class in this models folder to create the properties. Right click the models folder, add class. And let's give the class name online exam is my class name. Click add. And here we got our online exam class. Now in this online exam class, I'm just defining the public properties, which means it's just simply a POCO class. So first let's add the namespace using system.componentModel.data inertions. After that, in the class I'm adding the key method. Let's add the properties. Prop double tap. The first property is the integer type. Let's add the property name. Here the property name must be the column name of the table. Let's open the table. The first column I'm adding the question ID. Copy that one, paste here. The second column prop, which is a string type, and the property name is question. Copy that one and paste here. And the third property, which is also string property type, and the property name is option 1. Copy that one and paste here. Let's copy this. We have 4 options. This one is option 2, option 3 and option 4. After that, the last property name is the correct answer. Let's add that one and paste here. That's it. We have created the properties in this online exam class. Now the next step, we require the DB context class. For that, again open Solution Explorer. In the same models folder, right click the models folder, add class. And the class name I'm adding application DB context. The class name is add. And here we got our application DB context class. Now the purpose I have added this DB context class, I want to inherit the DB context class colon DB context. The DB context class belongs to the Microsoft.Entity Framework core. First let's add that namespace using Microsoft.Entity Framework. If you notice in the drop down list, we don't have any Entity Framework core package. So first let's install the package. Delete this namespace as well as this colon DBC. Open Solution Explorer. Before install the necessary packages to our project, let's expand this dependencies folder. And notice in the dependencies folder there is no any packages folder. So now let's install. Select the online exam MVC core. Right click the mouse. Manage Nudget packages. Select that one. Go to browse and search for Microsoft Entity Framework core. This is the package I want to install. And here we got the results. I'm selecting this Microsoft.Entity Framework core and the version I'm using 3.0.1. Click install. Click OK. Let's accept the license. Accept. And see here the package is installed successfully. Now let's check the Solution Explorer. And notice here we got the packages folder is added in the dependencies folder. Let's expand this packages folder. Here we got the Microsoft.Entity Framework core we just installed is successfully added into our project. Now let's add the necessary packages we required for this application. We require this Entity Framework code.sql server. Click install. Click OK. Let's accept the license. I accept. and here the SQL Server package is also installed successfully. Now the next we require the design also, entity framework code.design. Click install. Okay, accept. And the design package is also installed successfully. Now the last one we require the entity framework tools. Click install. Okay, accept. And the tools package is also installed successfully. That's it, we have installed all the necessary packages. Let's check in the database. Open Solution Explorer. Notice here we got all the packages are installed successfully. Let's minimize the Solution Explorer, close this NetJet package window as well as this Windows error list and the output message box. And now let's add the namespace using Microsoft.Entity Framework code. Now we'll add that DB context class. After inheriting the DB context class, now let's create the constructor for this class CTOR double tab, which will create the constructor DB context options. And here the context type I'm adding application or class name DB context options colon base options. Then after the constructor, let's add the property, and this public property the type is a DB set. In this DB set, the entities we are getting from the online exam class. So let's add the class name online exam class name, and the property name must be the table name. So again switch back to the SQL Server Management Studio. Let's copy our table name online exam, copy that one and paste here. That's it. Now the final step before adding the MVC controller to our project, open Solution Explorer. Notice in the project there is a startup.cs file. Open that one. Now in this startup.cs file we need to add our services, DB context services and our connection string name. So first add our namespaces Microsoft using Microsoft.Entity Framework code. Then also we have to add the models folder also using online exam project name dot models folder. And then if you notice here the public void configure services, in this services method I'm adding our services dot add DB context. In this DB context I'm adding the application DB context. Then options dot use SQL Server method, and this use SQL Server method takes the string configuration. So let's configuration dot get connection string method. This get connection string method takes a string parameter, so I'm adding double quotes. The parameter name must be our connection string name. So to get out the connection string name, open app settings.json file. Here our connection string name is my connection. Copy that one and add between these double quotes and finish with semicolon. That's it, we have configured our services also in this startup.cs file. Now it's time to add the controller to our project. Open Solution Explorer, the controllers folder, select that one, right click the mouse, add. I'm selecting controller and I'm selecting MVC controller empty, add. The controller name is exam controller, click add. And here we got our controller exam. Now first in this controller I'm adding the namespaces using Microsoft.Entity Framework code. Then we have to add the models folder also, online exam or project name dot models folder. After that in the controller above index method, I'm adding the private read only. In this read only, I'm adding my application db context class underscore db. Let's add the adb, this one. After that, let's create the constructor for the controller, ctor, double tap. Now in this constructor, I'm adding application db context adb underscore adb is equals to adb. Now in the action result, I'm declaring a variable results is equals to underscore adb dot. I'm adding my table name, which is the online exam. The table name is online exam dot toList method, and in the return view, I'm adding the results. That's it. We have written the code to fetch the data from online exam in this controller using ASP.NET Core. But to display the results, we require the index view page. So before adding the view page to our project, we must build our application first. Build solution. And the project builds successfully. Let's close this output message box. Now select the action result, right click the mouse, add view. The view name is index. The template, I'm selecting the list template, and this list template displays all the results from the table. And the model class, I'm selecting online exam. Our model class is here, it is online exam model class. Then click add, and here we got our index view page with the list template. Now first, what I'm doing, I'm changing the headings of this view page. Online quiz exam application with ASP.NET Core MVC, ASP.NET Core 3.0 tutorials. Then after that, I'm adding horizontal line. Now below the horizontal line, if you notice, between the p tags, I have a action link create, which I don't require. And come to the bottom, and also I'm deleting this edit details and delete links also. Then in the table, I don't require this table headers. Just I'm modifying the table, which I don't require. I'm deleting. I don't require the table headers. Now in the body, and the table data, the first row, I want to display the question ID and question. Both are in the first column, the first row. So just copy this part, the question one. In the first 3D, add comma after the question number. I'm adding comma. Then I want to display the question. Paste that one. Then paste this question with question mark. Then delete this question table data. Now if you notice, the option 1, 2, 3 and 4, they are in the display file, HTML display file, but I require the options with the radio button controls. So let's add a simple HTML radio button types. Radio button type is equals to radio, and ID is equals to option 1. And I'm adding the name property. And the name property is very important. I want to group all these options from 1 to 4 with this question ID. Then I'm adding the class also. Class, I'm adding the radio button RB. After that, I'm adding the value is equals to, I want to display the value, this one, the input option element, paste here. Make sure don't give any gaps. After that, let's close this radio button element. after the radio button I want to display the option. Then let's copy this one. In the same TD only I'm adding the 4 options. So let's change the option 2 for the second radio button, and I'm not changing the name and class, but I'm changing the value. Instead of item.option, I'm adding item.option 2. Then I want to display this option 2 label. Delete this TD. Again, copy this one. For the third radio button control, change the ID 3 and the value also I'm changing 3. Now copy this table data, paste here, delete this one. And the fourth radio button control, copy this one, paste here, change the option ID 4. This one is 4 and the value is 4. Make sure the name must be the same, and I don't require this option. And after that, the last TD, which is the correct answer, I don't want to display here. I'm adding new table row. Close the TR tag. Now between this TR, I'm adding the table data for the last column, which is the correct answer. Now after that, let's below the table, I'm adding a simple button control. Button type is equals to button, and ID of the button is equals to but exam, and I'm adding the class also to the button. Here the class names are from Bootstrap, btn success, which displays in a green color. The button color will be green. And let's add the text for the button, submit. So after adding the button control, now before implementing the online exam quiz with jQuery and JavaScript, first we'll check the basic output, how it looks, the designing part on the browser. But before run this application, we have to change the controller name. Go to startup.cs file. In the startup.cs file, come to the bottom. Notice here the pattern controller is equals to home. The controller name is home here, which is a default one. I'm deleting that one. And our controller name is the exam controller. Let's add that one, exam. And the action view page is the index only, which is this one. That's it. Now let's check the output. Browse with. I'm selecting Google Chrome default, set as default, click browse. And here we got our output. Oops, we are missing the fourth option here. Let's check. Oh, we have not added the fourth option. This one is 4. Let's save this file. I'm reloading the browser again. And here we got a new output. Now we got the fourth option also. Notice the header tags. After that we have the question number with question. And here the 4 options. User can select any one of these options from the 4. And below that we have the correct answer, which is a Delhi. Now after the questions, we have a button control. Now my aim is when page loads, first I want to hide this correct answer. Until a user selects options, then click submit button, I want to display the correct answer. Then below the button control, I want to display the user selected answers. For that I am using the jQuery and JavaScript. So when we are implementing the jQuery functionality, the most important, we require the latest jQuery CDN link. So to get the latest jQuery CDN link, click the new tab and search for Google jQuery CDN. Enter. And from the search results, I'm selecting the first option, hosted libraries. Click that one. And from the Google hosted libraries, notice at the corner there is a contents panel which contains jQuery. Select that one. And here you can find the different jQuery versions, but I'm selecting the jQuery latest snippet, which is 3.4.1. Copy that one and paste between the button control. And after that, my first condition is when page loads, I want to hide this label control. So first let's add the label element here, label, and close this label here. Then id is equals to correct answer, the label id, and also I'm adding the name and the class RB here. Now let's add the property style to hide this label. Style is equals to display :none, and I'm adding the color for the font green color. I want to add forest green. Let's put this in the bold tab. The correct answer I want to display in the bold tab. That's it. Now the first condition, I'm adding the correct answer when page loads. Now when user clicks the button control, I want to display the label control, the correct answer label control, and the selected option from the user I want to display below this label control. So again I'm adding the new label to display the selected user options. id is equals to user answers is the id. I want to display the user options here. Now first let's add the jQuery functionality script. In the script, I'm adding the function display results is a function name. Now in this function first in this function I'm declaring this username document.getElement by id. The id of this label is user answers dot inner html is equals to empty. Now I want to display only the selected options from these radio buttons. So for that, again declare a variable results is equals to document dot get element by tag name. Here the radio button tag name is a input. So between single quotes I'm adding input semicolon. Now let's add the array. Now we have the multiple options we have. So I want to display all the options, the select options. I'm saving it in an array. For that I'm using for loop for I is equals to 0, I is less than results dot length property. Then I'm counting I++. If we count the number of options, if results array I dot the input type is radio. between double quotes I'm adding radio. Now again I'm adding the if condition. I want to only display the selected checkbox radio buttons. So if results array I dot check, and those selected radio button checked values I want to display in this answer label. So here we have already declared, put this here, and I'm adding plus because we have multiple options. So I want to display all the results. Plus is equals to first one, the question number, the question, plus results I dot name, plus, so which displays the question number between double quotes. I'm adding bracket, plus plus between double quotes, the selected answer is results array I dot value plus between double quotes I'm adding break. I want to display the second answer in a new line, semicolon. That's it. We have written the JavaScript functionality to get the selected radio button values into this label answer. Now once the users click the button control, I want to display this correct answer also. For that I am adding, now after the script, dollar, I'm adding document dot ready function let's close with semicolon. Now in this jQuery functionality I'm adding, when a user clicks the button control, I want to show up this correct answer label, and I want to disable the radio button controls. So let's add dollar between double quotes I'm adding the button ID. So when a user clicks the button control, so I'm adding the button control dot click function. Let's close with semicolon. Now in this click function, the first condition between double quotes, I want to show this label. So let's add this class name dot, when we are adding the class names into a jQuery, we need to add prefix dot, then RB show method. And the next condition, I want to disable the radio buttons. So again dollar between double quotes, the radio button class name is RB. Notice all the class names of the radio button controls are RB. So again dot RB dot attribute property between double quotes, I'm adding the disabled true property. That's it. Now the last thing, we need to add this function name. Here I forgot to add colon, and here also. So now let's add this function, display results function, the JavaScript function. In the button element, I'm adding on-click event is equals to the function name, the JavaScript function name. That's it. Now it's time to check the results on the browser. Let's save this file. I'm reloading the browser. And here we got our final output. Notice the header tags online quiz exam application with ASP.NET Core MVC. Now below that we have the question number and the question with 4 options. Right now in our table we have 4 questions. Now let's select the options. What is the capital of India? I'm selecting Bangalore, which is the wrong answer. The capital of USA, I'm selecting Washington. The capital of China, I'm selecting Beijing. Capital of Australia is Canberra. Now let's check submit. So here once I click the submit button, I got all the correct answers below the every question. The capital of India is Delhi, but I have chosen Bangalore. Come to the bottom, notice below the button control, the selected answer is Bangalore. If we check what is the capital of USA, I have selected Washington. Here the second question, the selected answer is Washington. The correct answer is also Washington. And also notice the button controls are disabled when a user clicks the submit button. That's it.